Good morning, everyone. This is Alfred Einstein coming to you from the Specialized Pockets of Knowledge studios here in Orlando, Florida. Today, I haven't got some good news. It's some bad news, and I don't think I'm going to teach you much, but we're going to talk about at the end what I think is going to happen, and hopefully, I'll get some very intelligent comments about what you all think about what I'm saying and what you think of the situation with regard to your broken condo dreams. Okay, Florida recently passed a bill, Florida Senate Bill 4D, seeks to resolve structural and financial issues faced by condo communities across Florida. And this bill is pretty far reaching. And I know that they brought it up because of the terrible accident where the condo, I think it's Bayside Village or something like that, down in Dade County, the building just crumbled in the middle of the night. A lot of people were hurt, injured, lost their lives. A terrible situation. And insurance companies had to pay through the nose. So it was a bad situation. So the legislature, in their ultimate wisdom, has decided that they're going to try to fix this, make sure it doesn't happen again. And the first thing they did in this legislation is they call for milestone structural inspections. Milestone structural inspections are going to be inspections that are going to be done to every building that are 3 stories or higher. Now, if you take a look around just Miami-Dade, Broward, and maybe Palm Beach, there's a lot of buildings that are higher than 3 stories. So that's going to be a lot of inspections. They're going to be done. These inspections have to be supervised by licensed engineers or architects. So now's a good time to be a licensed engineer or architect because there's going to be so much demand for your time that I think there'll be enough work for everybody. On top of that, the cost. If you ever had to hire an architect or an engineer to do anything for you, their time is very expensive. Very expensive. So I don't know how this is going to be a good thing. I know the results might be good. And the fact that they could find problems and cure them before they occur. But my goodness, the cost is going to be borne by the owners of the condo. It's going to be a one-time assessment that's going to be divided up by the number of condos you have, but that number is going to be so big, it's not going to be able to help but sting. Okay, so the initial structural inspections and recommendations. These are going to be done, like I said, by the architect or the engineers. And the important dates is that they're required upon 12/31 of the building's 30th year. And then every 10 years thereafter. That means you go the first 30 years without inspections, but then you have to have it every 10 years. Now, any buildings that received a certificate of occupancy at or before July 1st, 1992, your inspections are required as of 12/31/25. Is that 25? I don't know. I think I made a mistake. I think they're required to be done by that date, but they have to be done quickly. And the reports themselves must be retained for 15 years. The building reports are going to be accessible by the owners, by any potential buyers, by any insurance company or lender. So they have to be there for 15 years so everybody can take a look. Milestone structural inspections phase 2. Are the buildings structurally sound, or do they require repairs? So we already talked about the inspection itself being done by engineers and architects or people that work for them. What happens if they need a repair? And how many condos that are 30 years old, especially the ones near the ocean, where that salt water gets in everything? How many do you think is going to need some repairs? And have you ever seen a condo repair that's inexpensive? If you have to fix one parking bumper, that's one thing. But if you have to redo your entire parking lot because you haven't maintained the blacktop on it, it's going to get pricey. Another part of this law, aside from the inspections, is reserve requirements. As of 12/31/24, this coming year, very, very soon, I'm recording this in April, associations may no longer, easy for you to say, may no longer waive their reserve requirements. So what does that mean? Now the way the old law was, you could waive having to increase your reserve requirements to make sure you had enough money to pay for a new X or AC units or whatever the case may be by the end of its life. But they've been waiving that and carrying it forward. And so far, a lot of the condos just are not fiscally responsible. They're not financially liquid. So as of December of this year, they're not going to be allowed to waive those reserve requirements. They have to pass them on to the owners of the condo immediately. Now, this is interesting too. Structural integrity reserve study. What they're going to do is they're going to bring in that same architect or that same engineer, and they're going to look at all your replaceable items, your AC, your roof, your paint on the outside, your covering on your garage, your parking spaces, the integrity of your garage if it's underground. They're going to take a look at everything, and they're going to project that it's going to cost X number of dollars for, let's say, for example, your roof. Your roof is going to cost you $2 million to replace it. And you have 20 years until you have to replace it because you just got it done. The condo is going to have to make a reserve requirement of $80,000 to pay for the $2 million roof in 20 years. So that's going to be a big stick in the eye of the condo owners. Number one, who's used to not paying reserves. Number two, are not going to go into shock having to pay for the inspections, the result of the inspections, the repairs required by the inspections, as well as the payment of reserves for any item to be replaced by the end of the component's life. And if there's going to be a special assessment, guess what? It's per component. So they're going to raise the fees or issue one-time special assessments per component. So you could see, you could feel how it's starting to get rich. It's starting to get heavy. And unfortunately for a condo owner that's watching this video, it's starting to get real because the money is going to be real and there's no way out of it. Additionally, association board members are now personally liable for failure to complete inspections or meet reserve requirements. In my personal estimation here, the law went too far. And I know why they did it, because of all the theft that happens from condo board members helping themselves to the condo money. I understand it, but I don't know if there might have been a better way. What the downside of this is, or the upside, depending upon how you're looking at it. I don't know how long the line was to become an officer at a condo. If the line was long, cut it in half or even in quarters, because there's not going to be that many people that are going to be willing to throw themselves under the bus for personal liability on something that they really can't control. All they can control is not stealing. They can't control the recovery of the money, and they certainly can't control whether or not the architects or the builders do their job. So this is going to be a little prickly. Let's try not to make matters too much worse, but I'm sorry, insurance premium increases, or insurance is going to be completely unavailable. It's already happened here over the past several years that insurance carriers left the state because of the threat of hurricanes, is my estimation, because the cost of a hurricane hitting anywhere in Florida, particularly South Florida, is going to be extraordinary. It's happening now in California. Why? I don't know. They don't have hurricanes. They do have, what are those called again? When the land rumbles? You know what I mean. Earthquakes, that's it. But I don't know how much that affects it. But in any event, listen, it's going to go crazy. And insurance is either going to be very expensive or unavailable. And God forbid they have to go to Lloyd's of London, the insurers of last resort. When I was buying property, the last time hurricanes hit, I got insurance. I had to get it from Lloyd's of London, and I made claims because I had some losses, and it was like pulling teeth trying to get money out of them. So, I mean, that's a story for another day. So now what? Now what's going to happen? So I have a list on the next slide that going to bring us to some conclusions, and I would love to hear if anybody agrees, disagrees, if you have other ideas, because frankly, I'm looking for a way to make money out of this problem. So here we go. Unintended consequences. Condos cannot obtain a loan for repairs without insurance. So they need repairs as by the inspections mandated by the engineers and the architects, but they can't get insurance without the repairs being done, and they can't get the repairs done without a loan, so they can't get the repairs done and they can't get insurance, and now this is a circle. This is a catch-22, and there's no way to get out of it. I'm going to suggest that there's not going to be a lot of people that are going to be in line to be condo officers. I just don't see how they are because of the personal liability. Now, what are they going to do if there's no officers? I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be, but there has to be officers to do things. And if they can't get things done, I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to do. I don't know where this is going to land. But I'm interested mostly with the tight budgeted condo owner. What are they going to do? They start getting assessments that are heavier than their budget can handle at the time. What choices do they have? Are they going to be able to stay in the unit if they don't make their payments? I probably don't think so. Because if they don't make their HOA payments, the condo can get to foreclosure faster than anybody. Because they can go into county court, the dockets aren't as busy, the judges aren't as busy. They can get this thing done in 3 months. So what's going to happen? If it goes to a condo sale, even if there's a mortgage, there's still investors that know how to work around that. So if it goes to a condo sale, and the condo is their final judgment, $11,000, who is going to buy it? What investor is going to buy that unit knowing what's coming? What's going to be here in December 31st, 2024? You're not going to be able to project what the monthly payments are for your association. You don't know how many you're going to receive of special assessments, which is just a scary thought all by itself. Would you move your family into a condo that you don't know what's going to happen within the next 5 or 6 months? Absolutely not. Now, will all these condos wait until next year to foreclose all the people who haven't made their HOA dues? I don't know. Might be a consideration, but I don't think it's going to make anything better, because the more condos that go on the market, the more there's going to be pressure on the price to go down. And until somebody can point out a way for investors to make money on condos like this, it's going to be a mess. Even lenders. I don't see how lenders are going to want to make loans on condos. There's going to be so many that are going to be vacant. And that leads me to my next choice. Could we potentially buy the first mortgage? Yes, you sure could. But again, it's risky because you can't put a value on an item that's continually depreciating because of the number of units that are going on the market. So it's going to be scary. Mostly for those condo owners. Where are they going to go? Is the rental market now going to get a boost because they have to have some place to go? Is the retail property homeowners market for single-family houses, is that going to get a boost because condo owners are now having to find some place to live? But let's face facts. People live in condos because they want to live in condos, not because they have to in most cases. They want to. But now this is going to be removed from them. They're not going to have a choice anymore. So anyways, listen, I'd love to have a discussion with anybody that has some wisdom to add to my projections here. If you're a lawyer, I'd love to hear in my comments what exactly you think is going to happen, and let's talk about it, because I don't know. And if anybody says they know what's going to happen, I just don't think that they're up on their game that day. In any event, if you stayed this long, thanks very much. Subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 150, okay? Anyways, this is, what's my name again? Alfred Einstein, saying goodbye. Thanks a lot. And remember, you don't know what you don't know. Thanks a lot.